Okay, let's find out who's in the workshop. Let me just get logged on the old laptop. And today is also a bit of an experiment. Yes, we're doing scientific stuff. So bear with me. We're not quite there yet. Come on, YouTube. You can do it. Find the live stream. Simon, good morning, Simon. Welcome back, matey. Yes, Simon, you got to spot the difference. What's different today on the live stream? Okay, we've got it. We're going in. Boom, there we go. Okay. Morning, Andy and Cruz, says Simon. Very good. Now, just to fill you in, Mrs. Mechanic and Benjamin are both going out on a mountain bike, an e-bike mountain bike ride today. So I may get called away on a rescue mission. We'll have to wait and see. Purple Monkey 1974. Hi all. Good morning, sir. Welcome back to the workshop. And my sincere apologies about last week's live stream. This time last week, I was on a mountain, literally, in Queenstown. Yes. Giving a team of engineers my thoughts and proposals on a new transmission or a new part of a transmission system for ROVs. It was very much a privilege to be there, to be honest. It was very, very good. It was well worth going. And I nearly didn't go. It was that close. It was a Saturday morning, last minute decision. Am I going to go or am I not going to go? More on that later. Jim K, hello. Good morning, Jim. Welcome back, sir. So, Jim, we're playing a game, Spot the Difference. Simon, the door is open and the screen is the right way around. What the hell? Is it? I don't know. Mine isn't the right way around. How come your screen's the right way around? Mine's the wrong way around. Well, it doesn't matter, right? It's just a screen. However, we do have Miss July on the calendar, so all is right in the world. Yes. So, I can't remember back to when the last live stream was. And I certainly can't remember all the stuff that I've done. Although, because I was away at the weekend in Queenstown, which was very nice, it was a fly-in, fly-out kind of a trip, bit of a whirlwind, which involved obviously driving up to Auckland and all that kind of stuff, and then driving back down. You know, there was quite a lot of effort when it's just been there for a few hours, but like I said, it was definitely worth it. And we'll find out in a few years' time. We will find out if what I proposed comes to fruition. Good word for a Sunday morning. Simon. Oh, hang on a minute. What's going on here? No, we don't want to look back. Oh, little Marmite. In front of the fire. Memories. Thank you, memories. Be rude not to go. Exactly. If it's the issue you raised. Yes. Those that know. I'm not going to propagate it out on this live stream because that would get me into some serious trouble. But those that know, you guys know, right? And of course the cigarette goes out. God damn it. Oh, just to let you know, we have a new vermin in the workshop. Well, not quite in the workshop, but near the workshop. In that top corner, Benjamin was working in his workshop yesterday. It was our day before yesterday. Anyway, recently, he heard this sort of pattering of feet across the new roof. And there's still a bit of a gap at the end of his workshop. We've made the doors, but we've not fitted the hinges, so it's still open to above the roof area, the roof cavity. And this possum just popped its head round the corner and was busy watching Ben fixing his bicycles. And he's like, what the hell? We don't have possums around here. Well, we have now. We've got one that lives on the roof. And I heard him this morning giving himself a good scratch. So we now need to eradicate a possum. We've done mice, we've done rats, and now we've got a possum to get rid of. And I mean, to be fair, we've built the perfect home for a possum up there. So it's not ideal, but we have to get rid of it. Anyway, Connor K, morning Andy crew, back in the shop. Good morning, Connor. Welcome back. And yes, I am back in the workshop. I was looking forward to being in the workshop last weekend. I had a lot of stuff to do, which I've done quite a bit of it recently, the last few days, because I took Thursday and Friday off as days in lieu for being away at the weekend. I thought that's only fair. Purple Monkey spot the difference. Is it your eye? Hey, well spotted. Okay, so bear with me. Here's the story. So I found a picture for you. Oh, it's gone again now. All right, no, that's not the one. Hang on, bear with me. Bear with me. I want a really good shot. So, right, there you go. Look, a bit gory, I know. This is before eruption. Okay, so for the last 2, maybe 3 weeks, my left eye has been watering. Now, this is men's health, or health for anybody really. My left eye was watering a bit. I wasn't really sure why, and it was getting really annoying. And it was mainly when I was watching TV, because I tend to sort of, lie on the sofa and watch telly that way. And I was just getting, water running out my eye constantly, and it was bloody annoying. And anyway, it was a week last Friday, I decided to go to the doctors. I know it's a rare thing for me to go to the doctors, but I said, look, can you fit me in? There's something not right. It had gone a bit red, a bit raw. My cheek down here had started to sort of swell up as well. I'm like, man, that's not good. So I went down. The doctor fitted me in, which was really nice. Helen, her name is. And she said, ooh, you've got an infection in your eye. And I'm like, oh, that's not very good. So she gave me a lot of tablets to take and some goo to stick in my eye and things. Very unpleasant, in all honesty. But I stuck to the regime and, put the goo in my eye and all that kind of stuff. I was okay driving because my left eye is my worst eye. My right eye is the one that does all the driving, basically. It's the one that gives me the input. And I can see things pretty clearly through my right eye. So hence why I got to Auckland. That was part of the decision why I was going to go or not. Can I drive? Because Mrs. Mechanic offered to drive me to Auckland, but it'd have been 1,000 kilometers round trip there and back, on the Sunday to pick me up, which wasn't going to work. And plus, I had dealer visits and stuff planned, which I cancelled all of those and just worked from home. But anyway, so this thing turned out to be a stye, whatever they are. All I can say is pretty nasty, and it swelled right up into almost like a high pressure P on my bottom eyelid. I can see down there now. Look, it's not as bad now, and I think it was on Thursday. I was on the lathe all day Thursday, machining up some new shock spacers for a customer, for a motorcycle shop, and which was really good. The order came in, I think, on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, so it was like, yep, get to it. I'll get on with that. It's something that I can do without any problems, given the eye situation and all that. And then I had some other ones to make as well. I had 2 orders to do, and we got those shipped out on Friday. So they were going to get done on the weekend, but we got them done early, so obviously the bike shops would be really happy. And while I was on the lathe, my eye started to feel a bit weird. And if you look very carefully, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it started to develop a yellow pussy area in the middle. And it's like a giant boily spot thing. Anyway, some of that pus had started, I know it's a horror, sorry if you're having breakfast, right? But some of the pus had started, it found a hole, a pore, whatever it is, and started to ooze out. So I didn't realize that I was packing up. There was a lot of blood on the outside of my eyelid as well. So I cleaned that off, finished off packing up, went inside and decided, well, let's give it a helping hand. And sure enough, lots more came out. It was pretty nasty. Mrs. Mechanic was screaming and running around going, don't squeeze it, don't squeeze it. But I had to, I couldn't leave the goo in there. So it's sort of on the mend now. I think there might be a bit more to come out at some point, but it's not under pressure anymore. So it's not going to come out very well on its own, under its own power, under its own pressure. So we're going to have to wait and see, but pretty nasty, to be honest. Not very happy at all. But it is what it is. We all go through life. And but the good thing is it doesn't hurt anymore, because before it burst, I was getting some pretty bad headaches. And the doctor said to me, if you start to get headaches, I know, you've got to come back, because it might well be that you need to go on an IV drip with whatever, stuff it is that they give you. I don't know. Penicillin-y type stuff, So, but I didn't. I just persevered. So we'll wait and see. Yes, was told to rub a stye with gold. That's what Mum told me that, actually. Morning, Mum, if you're there. Yeah, a gold ring, just rub on the stye. Old wives' tale, right? I don't know whether it works or not. But hopefully it'll calm down. It was red raw for a few days. The eye's not sore anymore. And the goo that they gave me, Mrs. Mechanic was reading the text on it the other day, and it said it was for, oh God, what was it called? I forget the name now. Conjunctivitis. So when I was a kid, about 14, 15, I got conjunctivitis in both my eyes. And what it does is it's nasty. It's like having grits of sand in your eyeballs. If you've ever experienced it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That didn't happen this time. Thank God I didn't get conjunctivitis. But back then, what it did is it caused scarring on the lenses of my two eyes. Now, my left eye, worse, right eye, not as bad. And that from that point on, it affected my vision tremendously. Good enough to drive, just realistically. But you can't fix it with contact lenses. We tried, doesn't work, because it's part of the lens of the eye that's refracting the light all over the place. If I actually made a little pinhole camera, so just a piece of paper, put a tiny pinhole in it, and if I hold that really close to my eye, so it limits the source of the light, so it doesn't refract as much, my eyesight's great. So there's nothing on the inside, it's just the lens itself. Laser thingamajig doesn't work either, because they cut the top layer and flap it back, and then change the profile of your lens with the laser, and then flap it back over again, so we start the scarring. So lasering doesn't work. The only other option at the time was, I can't believe we're talking about this, but the only other option at the time was cornea transplant, which is serious shit, right? And they basically cut your old lens out and sew somebody else's in, that has passed away, obviously, not while they're still alive. That wouldn't be very nice, would it? That supposedly is supposed to work, but I'm just not into that. That's just that sci-fi stuff, is that? Not interested. And then recently, when I was working at Bike Barn, when I first came to New Zealand, Ian, who was the shop manager, he had one of his eyes done with acid. Yeah, I know. Weird, right? So they put this little tubey thing, as I understand it, on his eye, clamped it onto his eyeball, and then put acid in the tube, and the tube was directly above the lens, and it eats away the top layer of skin or lens, and then they wash it all off, and then it heals up, and it's supposed to heal up nice and smooth. It is an option, but I've always been taught never to put acid in your eye. So again, I've stayed away from that. But as I get older and my eyesight naturally gets worse anyway, I might have to consider something like that. Not good. The eyesight in my left eye is not back to as good as it was before I got the stye. So it's a bit worse, and I'm not happy with it. It might just be because my eye's still a little bit watery. It's not happy because there's this lump there. But anyway, enough about eyes and stuff. I just thought I'd fill you in. That's the situation. Anyway, so if you see what it is on the video, you'll notice on the videos, what's that? Well, that's what it is. And hopefully over the next few months, it's going to settle down. And I'm pretty sure I'll have a bit of a lump there forever now. But hey, what the hell? Doesn't matter. Vijayant, good evening, Andy and crew. How is everyone doing? Well, Vijayant, look. I've been talking about that just now. I got a stye in my eye. It has now burst. I didn't know that styes could burst, so was it really a stye? I don't know. But anyway, it seems to be settling down, hopefully. Wade Mayer, howdy, Andy and crew. Good morning, Wade. Welcome back, mate. So the experiment that we're doing now is I might have mentioned to you a while ago that fibre is coming to our village, and it's now here. It came a little bit quicker than planned, so I'm just going to do a quick speed test on my phone now. When the fibre guy came down and he dug a trench and he put the cable in, I helped him with that and that kind of stuff, and then we finally got it connected. So we've now got fibre in the office and we've got a repeater in the lounge, but we've not yet worked out how to connect the Chromecast to the new internet. I know, old person thing, right? Ben's on the mission. He's said he'll get it done before he leaves. He's leaving Tuesday night, so fingers crossed it'll be sorted. We're going to be having a LAN cable, so internet from the main box, I don't know what you call it, modem, a LAN cable run into the workshop, and then have a Wi-Fi booster in the workshop. So we'll have really good internet in the workshop, but we are on Wi-Fi out of the office at the moment, not the workshop Wi-Fi, as is my phone. So let's see what the internet speed test is. This one will do. So I checked it this morning, and distance makes a huge difference to how fast your internet is. And I tried it in the workshop before I dared run the live stream off it. And here you go, look, that's download. So that's about 220, 225. There we go, look, boom, boom, boom. It's going to do the upload in a minute. Upload's the most important thing to me, really. Doing the upload. Boom, look at that. So upload is about 180 in the workshop off my phone, which is phenomenal. So 257 megabytes per second, download 189, 190, upload. When we are on, if I do the same test, I'll turn the Wi-Fi off, get rid of that. If I go back in again, then that one. So this is internet off my phone using mobile data. Test again, that's what I need. Okay, connecting. Dum, dum, dum. So more often than not, my phone internet will be quicker than the original house internet. So download is 21 on mobile data. Boom, 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 boom. I know this might be boring to some people, but for YouTubers, it's very important. It gives you an idea what we've got, what we're having to work with down at this end. And upload, as you can see, is woeful. It's less than 1. So it's been taking us, and the home Wi-Fi might be a fraction better than that. That's actually quite a bad case. I was expecting 2 or 3, but it's still really, really crap. So it was taking Mrs. Mechanic like 12 hours to upload a video to YouTube, which is just a joke. And her videos are shorter than mine. I was fortunate enough to be able to use, Wi-Fi and stuff while I'm out and about on the road in the hotels and things. And that's how I was uploading my videos mainly, was when I was away from home. I'd edit them and upload them before I came home again. But now we can upload all sorts. We went for the business plan, those that are interested, which is from One New Zealand, Vodafone, I call them still. And they quoted 500 megabytes download, 500 megabytes upload, and we pay a bit extra for that. We're not getting that. We're not getting that by any means at the moment. However, after speaking to the engineer at Vodafone, they said, look, you're only going to see those kind of speeds when you've got a PC connected via a LAN cable to your modem, because it's much faster that way. When you go through Wi-Fi, you'd actually lose a lot of speed just because of the Wi-Fi. So I said, all right, okay, copy that. So we tried that on our computer, and we got, actually it wasn't a PC, it was still a laptop. We couldn't get the old PC to fire up. I think it's died, to be honest. It's a shame. And we were getting 350, I think it was, download and 300 uploads. So we're on the right side of the midpoint, right? So we're a bit better. But in any case, it's a million times better than it was. So that we're on that now. So if it all crashes, you know that somebody's cut through the fiber cable. So Right, here we go, Simon. Okay, so Simon says the cable guy must have been happy turning up with a shovel and getting it dug by a tractor. I didn't. I didn't dig it with Trevor the tractor. I could have done, but I was busy at the time. I was doing stuff. I was actually at work on that Friday. That was the Friday before I went to Queenstown. I was actually at work, and it was raining. Poor chap. Also, in my defence, where he was putting the trench, there are other things. Okay, that our main power cable to the house, for example, is down there. Not really a place I want to go playing with Trevor the tractor, to be honest. And I am well known for digging holes much bigger than they should be because it's fun, right? So it didn't take him long, and he had to cross a concrete path, which is all cracked anyway because there's a big tree there. And I said, look, you can just pull the bits of concrete out. They're really small. Pull them out and just leave them out. Don't worry about reconcreting it because we're going to do that later on anyway. Make a new path. So he was over the moon when he heard that. And he did a great job. He was a very helpful chap, very knowledgeable, and very, very happy. So we have fibre. In fact, at the moment, at this point in time, we have internet in the house. This is before fibre. Internet in the house, which is a little box with a SIM card in it. So that's basically data. So it's never really much better than my phone. We've got Vodafone rural broadband still in the workshop up there, which is going to be, as soon as that cable's in and the other booster's in, we'll terminate that, and we'll terminate the one in the house. And we've got fibre. We've got 3 lots of sort of broadband, as you'd call it, at the property at the moment. Plus, of course, all the phones as well. So we've got plenty of internet. So it's not bad, and I have high hopes. It'd be nice to know what the quality of this live stream is like, if it's any different to what you've had in the past. I'm sure it will only get better again once we get the final stage done, which will happen hopefully in the next couple of weeks, maybe before the next live stream. Wade Mayer, networking is my career. Here we go. I've been on, sorry, my eyesight's still a bit crap, so bear with me. I've been on a 1 gig up and down fibre for 1 gig up and down fibre for 14 years. Last summer, they upgraded our neighbourhood to 10 gig gear. That's crazy. Really is crazy. I think we've got all that we need. I mean, I don't film in 4K. The file sizes are not massive. They're roughly about 7 to 8 gigs per hour of video. And even at the speed, the new speed that we've got, it will upload within, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, something like that, I imagine, per hour of video. So that's fine. I can live with that, But it might improve a bit. I don't know. It might get worse as more people, end up with fibre in the village. It might grind to a halt. I hope not. If it does, I'll ring your Vodafone up again, because at the end of the day, we're paying for what we're paying for, right? Anyway, I'm getting hungry. So we have a very special pie. It's called a Westy Grunter. Look at that. And it's got a car on the front. Now that is brilliant marketing. It really, really is. Grab another great Westie. Now, these pies may well have been around for a while, but I've never seen a pie with a car on the front. So I was very impressed and thought, well, we have to have that for the live stream. Mrs. Mechanic spotted it. We have to have it. Only cost $4, so it's pretty damn cheap as well. So we're going to go in. The first ever car-flavoured pie. I joke. So this one is mince and cheese. There you go, like mince and cheese. Didn't have a steak and cheese. In fact, they had very limited flavours, to be honest. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's a good fit. There we go. Okay, pie integrity. It feels very, I don't know. It looks very opaque. Doesn't look too bad, does it? It survived coming out of the bag as well, which is good. No defects on the bottom. There's a bit of a puddle mark there, but that's all right. It still looks pretty strong. Haven't done a pie for a while. Okay, let's go and stick it in the pie warmer. And we'll see if the picture goes fuzzy now. It used to, didn't it, when I wandered around the workshop? Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom! Okay. Oh, we'll do a little tour of the workshop while we're on. So, the pie. We've got the door open to try and keep the internet coming in. When the door was closed, it got worse than the current internet in the workshop, so there was no benefit at all. So I decided to leave the door open to try and use the fibre. And so the workshop, where are we now? So yeah, I've done nothing with this yet. Those that haven't seen it, this is a vowel grinding machine, which from Black & Decker. I've not done anything with that yet at all. There will be a video on that. It may well happen today. In fact, it probably will happen today, actually. I'm going to do some filming. So we'll have a closer look at that on a video. And this is where I've spent most of my time in the last few days. Sorry, getting drawn to the calendar. Damn. Right. Okay, so been extensively using the new tool perch, the quick mount tool thingy. Getting to grips with that. It's almost too big for the lathe, but I've come up with ways of doing things to get the bits where I need them to be. And I've been machining cast aluminium. That's all this stuff here, look. I've been machining normal stuff, aluminium stuff. Lots and lots of that. And yes, this lathe hasn't stopped. And my cooling system, which is not on at the moment, which is up here. This is my cooling system, right? So that gets wedged in there because there's a bit of a gap. You can get a screwdriver in there and wedge it in and stuff. This cools the bimetal strip that's on the switch. It doesn't cool the motor, but I was working it all day long and checking the temperature of the motor, and it was not getting hot. You know, not too hot. It could do with a bit of an upgrade, to be fair. It's not very powerful. I think I need a bigger motor in it, if that's possible. But yes, it needs a very, very good clean because we are really starting to mount up with the swarf now. And I've probably done I was on it most of yesterday and half the day before, and then I've done 2.5 days of lathing. I know, turning on the lathe, but I call it lathing just because it's quicker, right? So I've been 2.5 days on there making stuff, which has been quite cool. I really enjoyed it, actually. Let's stick that back up there again. And these are all they're all my special tools, look, in stock, ready to go. Some of these have already gone to America. They have. Very cool. And all these little bits here, these are all the offcuts, but these actually get sold as well. These are like, because they can use them in multiples on the shocks. So nothing goes to waste. But the order that came in, I get them done 30mm standard in height. These are about 8mm, and the company that ordered them wanted 20mm ones, so I just part them off, and this is what I end up with. And then these get sold off, I think like $10 each or something, not a lot, but you know, better than going in the bin. And what I sell the 20mm ones for is near as damn it the same as the 30mm ones, because you know there's work involved to do them, so extra work. So now there you go, little lathe has been earning its money. What else have we got for you at the moment that's in the workshop? I've been using Priscilla, used that yesterday, the little pillar drill. Haven't used Sheldon for a while though. Need to get using Sheldon. Yes, the go-kart's still here, Simon. Ongoing joke, isn't it? One day I'll get around to doing that. Got a few more jobs to do yet though. And the corner of mess is still the corner of mess. When I get the next shed built, that is going in the shed. That's gets all the moisture out of the water. Gets all the moisture out of the air that the air compressors produce. It dries the air for us. It's an air dryer from Atlas Copco. Only cost $2,000, and there it is, sat on the bench years later. And we'll get round to it. But it's just not been feasible to plumb it in, really, as we are at the moment. But that's about it, really, I think. The pillar drill is still broken. There's still no intermediate pulley. I nearly made a video on it. I'm pleased that I didn't. I absolutely messed up, right? Simon's going to laugh his head off at this. So if we go over here and get my bag of bits. In fact, I'll show you this. I'm going to put you on the tripod, bring you down a bit. Okay, here we go. So Andy messed up. Andy didn't do his research. So I got the pulley, and my original plan was, hey, you know, I'll just weld up inside and then machine it back so I can put a new bearing in, because the bearing had crapped out, but it had also hollowed out inside the pulley. Well, I did that, so I welded in there, and it was really nasty welding going on in there. And then I came to try and machine it, and it's as hard as diamonds. Yes, that's what happens. It draws the weld draws the carbon from the cast iron into the weld and makes it very, very, very hard. Couldn't machine it. I wasn't too upset because this pulley's about knackered anyway, so I've got to find another pulley and we'll basically do more. I couldn't fix this one. I could make an aluminium pulley. It will take me ages. Right. I think we're done around the workshop at the moment. I think we are. Yes, can't think of anything else. Right, back to the bench. Boom, boom, boom. Turn you round. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Get you level again. Nice. Okay. So at this point in time, oh yes, what was the? Oh, geez, that's not level, is it? What was the picture like as I wandered around the workshop? Because we're doing experiments today. We're testing the new internet. Where are we? Boom, boom, boom. Keep going, keep going. Right, Wave Mayer. I wasn't almost exactly on the other side of the planet. A box of Cat 6. What? A box of Cat 6. And I will be over today to cable it all. Oh, Category 6 cable. That would be cool, mate. I would be very appreciative of that. But yes, you're a very, very long way away. And so New Zealand's a bit of a dead end, to be honest. Purple Monkey 1974. What's with the icons on the chat? I have no idea what's with the icons on the chat. There's little crowns and number 2s. That's Simon. And then there's a crown number 1, Purple Monkey. I don't know. I obviously didn't get the memo from YouTube to tell me all about that. Now then. Richard Perry, hi and crew. Hope everybody is well. Richard, look! I've got a stye. I've got a friend on my eye. Bastard thing. Now then, Roger Heap. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Hi and crew. Well, thumbs up. GB flag, where is it? This side, GB flag. There we are. Look, GB flag. Thank you. Roger Heaps, good morning. Andy and crew, good morning. Roger from Invercargill. Hope all is well down there, sir. Simon, what about a shop ferret for the workshop pests? After all, you're a Yorkshireman, lol. Unfortunately, and you'll laugh at this, ferrets are not allowed in New Zealand. Nope. Don't allow them here. I think it's probably because they don't want all the kiwis to be killed. Not the people, I mean the actual kiwi animal thing that runs around. There's not many of them left, so I'm told. Just need the flat cap. Yes, the giant. Workshops never have enough space. No, once we build the new shed, the mirror shed to Ben's workshop, which is going to go up there. We've done the retaining wall now. It's all looking spiffing. Just got to save up for some pennies for the timber, and then we can get it all timbered out, and then put the concrete floor in, put the doors on, and all of a sudden Andy's got his own extra shed, which will be really good for storage and things. It'll get a lot of the crap out of this workshop that doesn't need to be here, like the sandblasting cabinet will live up there. All the air compressors are going to get plumbed up permanently up there. The water separator thing, that thing over there, will be plumbed in permanently, mounted on the wall, and it'll all work really well. I will then have apart from the go-kart, I'll have to go somewhere, probably go in the shed and get forgotten about. I will have my full workbench available, and I've got some more of my red racking left. We got given Teng gave us a corner piece which has been disassembled for now. It's in storage, and I was gonna mount that in the same way that I mounted all this stuff, so it's not actually on the bench, it just hovers just above the bench, and that'll give me loads more shelving and stuff. And ultimately the plan was to have this bench, this big bench, on wheels. But the problem with that is that the floor is of all different levels and it's actually quite heavy to move around, and it's got a lot of stuff on it now, so it'd be too heavy to move. So the bench stays where it is. It works very, very well where it is. Having the middle bench protruding into the workshop like this, it's great for filming. It works well for me, and it gives you a lot more area. If the bench was the other way around against the wall, it doesn't work. So this works for me. It's always worked for me. It's what I did very early on when I set my workshop up. It means that Ben can work on one side and Mrs. Mechanic can. I can work on this side, and then we've still got the other two benches. That area needs tidying up for sure. But yes, it's going to be a lot better. That air compressor will be gone. It won't be firing up all the time. It's really noisy in that shed there. It'll be a lot quieter. Plus, you know, all the air compressors, I won't have to push the other two around all the time. They'll all be mounted and plumbed up, and we can just go in and turn one on or turn them all on, depending whether we're sandblasting or just need a bit of air, you know. And it probably will be that we'll just turn one of the little ones on when we just need to inflate tires and stuff. We don't need the big air compressor to fire up. So it's all coming together, but slowly. Too slowly, really. But it'd be really good to get that part of the workshop tidied up. I want to do somewhere where I can store all my steel. At the moment, it's just chucked up on the bench, and it's crap. So maybe I'll do some kind of shelving, racking stuff under the bench, or maybe on the wall. Or, I mean, wall space is premium. It's hard to justify when it's on the wall. Plus, with its steel, it's putting a lot of weight on the wall, whereas the bench can easily cope with it. Anyway, I ramble on, but you know what I mean. Now then, where do we get to? Simon, you can machine it with the die grinder bit in the tool post. With the die grinder bit. Oh, yeah, okay. Try that. Okay. Purple Monkey. Perfect picture and audio. Yes. I'm here, YouTube. It's only taken 10 years. Anyway, such is life. Thank you, Purple Monkey. Appreciate the feedback. Vijayant, no complaints. Seems perfect. Awesome, Vijayant. Thank you. Sheldon. Good morning, Andy and crew. Big clappy hands. Thank you, Sheldon. Sheldon, have you ever seen one of these pies? I've never seen one. It's called, was it called a Westy Grunter? And it's got a picture of a car on the front. Honestly, that has got to be some of the best marketing ever. I wonder if they've been clever enough to do a different model of car, maybe a different colour as well, for each flavour of pie. That would be brilliant. I was expecting a nice big muscle car in there, but it's not. It seems to be a sort of a modern car that somebody's put a blower on. As you can see there, look. Don't know. But it's still good. So very well done, Westy Grunter pie people. I wonder if it's made by the same as any other pie company, you know, by another pie, made in West Auckland. From imported and New Zealand ingredients. Westy Food Group. No, it is just Westy. It's not made by another pie company and just branded Westy. Yeah, interesting. Okay. And the bag, just for reference, the bag is perforated. So these can go straight into a pie warmer in a petrol station or a corner shop or whatever. A dairy, they call them here. And it can be warmed in the bag. It won't get all soggy and horrible. So thank you, Sheldon. Let me know. Ted McConaughey. Hi there from New Mexico, US of A. Been a while. I watched. Always wonder what happened to your helpers. You mean the tool girls? Okay, so the tool girls, and there were many of them, which was extremely nice. Tool girl. Harley was the first tool girl, and that was really just an experiment. They didn't have the outfits and stuff, and she just rocked up in her bikini and high heels, and she was driving her dad's Range Rover, I'm pretty sure it was her dad's. I don't think it was hers. If it was hers, she had far too much money, and you'd wonder why she was doing what she was doing. But anyway, and we had a great time. We did a GN 250, I think, from memory. We did something to the front. Did we fit a new front brake lever? I don't know. It was very basic. And then we did an oil change on my KTM. The filming was terrible. I was still learning how to cope with filming other people in the workshop at the same time, but it worked fantastically well. The audience really liked it, and so I sort of pursued that, and more tool girls came along, which was excellent. And I made well over 100 videos. About 120 odd videos have got tool girls in them. And that's not including sort of the hashed together ones where there's just snippets, you know, from lots of other videos. And then I moved down to where I live now, which is a house that I bought when I still lived in England, a long, long time ago. And it's nice to be here, finally, in my own home, rather than paying rent all the time. But the problem was the tool girls, and this is a very rural area, the tool girls are all in Auckland. And some have gone off and done other jobs now, and one of them is over in Australia living there, and Holly's still around, she's in Auckland. I don't know where Sam is, but they're all over the place. And it sort of got to, I mean, I was thoroughly enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but once I got here, the logistics just became almost impossible. I'm 3.5, 4 hours from Auckland. For them to travel down, do some filming, travel back in a day wasn't feasible because filming's tiring. You know, there's a lot goes on. We're usually filming for a good 8 hours a day, and even then with Holly, we would do stuff on an evening as well. We did the Lego cars and the Meccano stuff, which was cool. Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben's on camera. Hey, they like the fibre.
Oh, yeah.
It's super clear. Cool. No complaints there. Say good morning to the world.
Good morning, world.
So what are you doing today?
Bike ride.
Motorbikes?
No.
What kind of bikes?
E-bikes.
Oh, e-bikes. So not quite bicycles then?
No.
Right. And have you planned where you're going to break down yet?
Funny.
Do I know where you're going?
No.
So you've got no backup?
No.
Excellent. Okay. All right then. That's cool. I can cope with that.
Yeah. We'll be fine. We're taking the trailer for the tools and parts and stuff, so we'll be good.
Right. Well, good luck. Any idea what time you expected to be back to base?
5, I'd say.
Really? All day?
Yeah.
That's a lot of cycling.
It's 62 kilometres.
60? Oh, we have motorbikes for that. You can't do 62 kilometres on a bicycle. Mind you, Sheldon rode the entire length of New Zealand on a bicycle, and it wasn't an e-bike. Top bloke. I couldn't do that. I'd be dead by the time I got to Whangarei, I reckon. I probably wouldn't even make it that far. Kerry, probably. In fact, I wouldn't even get over the hill. I'd probably get it's about 10, 15 kilometres out of Kaitaia. I mean, saying that, you've got to start at the lighthouse right at the top, so I wouldn't even get to Kaitaia. No, I'd be lost. I'd just disappear. Where do we get to? So there you go, Tool Girls. It sort of was a great time. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Although, to be fair, as I got older, and you know, I am like 53 now, it started to look a bit more odd, even in my eyes, having this young lady, scantily clad, in the workshop next to this aging bloke. Now, some may say that, you know, Benny Hill pulled it off, so why not Andy? That was sort of in my mind, and every now and again we get a derogatory comment, which didn't do the girls any good. They took it pretty hard, and I couldn't stop that. Not immediately. I could delete the comment, but you've got to spot it first, right? And yeah, it just sort of came to a natural end. I think the logistics element was the problem, and because of the logistics, and obviously the girls got paid for it. I had to pay them an awful lot more because they were away from home traveling. I had to cover all the traveling time as well, which was only fair because it was a long way. And then they had to, we'd normally do 2 days of filming, so they'd stay over somewhere local. you know, hotel, motel, whatever. So I had to pay for that as well, plus their meals and things. You know, you've got to look after them, right? Because they're the talent. And it just got a little bit too hard. But there's a bigger thing as well. So put all that to one side and then think about YouTube. Now, YouTube, over the years, their rules and regulations for creators have become more and more strict. And I know there's all sorts of stuff on YouTube, right? Don't get me wrong, you can pretty much watch anything you want on YouTube, but a lot of them are not monetized. When you're monetized, you are scrutinized for your content. And it may well be at some point in the future, some of those videos fall foul of new rules that YouTube bring in, and they will get taken down. And there is nothing I can do about it. I hope that they don't, because they are a piece of history. There's something that I did, and I'm very proud of them. We had a great time doing them. And I have a lot of fond memories of making those videos with the helpers, with the tool girls. But I just don't think the time. Oh, plus COVID came along. That killed it as well. You know, so a lot of factors came in, and I felt that by the time I got settled here and I tried, and it didn't really work that well, that I've sort of moved on. Now I'm not saying that at some point in the future, Holly may come back. Just it'd be great to see her back down here again, just as a one-off. Make a couple of videos. It'd be fantastic. See how she's getting on. You know, she might join me for a live stream. But it might happen. It might not happen. And who's to say? I don't know. It's always nice having more people in the videos, and this is one of the reasons why Ben and Mrs. Mechanic are now, you know, doing the daily the workshop diaries that we're doing. Oh, Ben's been shot again. And there's a lot of those still to be edited up. We've been, you know, doing a lot of filming in the background that you've not yet seen. I think Mrs. Mechanic's trying to catch up, but we'll get there. We're going to be looking at buying her a new PC, because she's been having problems with her laptop that I bought for her to do the editing, and turns out doesn't have enough RAM. VRAM. Doesn't have enough VRAM, Ben says. Ben's the IT expert. I don't. No, I just fix motorbikes and weld things, but we need to buy her a PC, because PCs are a lot. I don't know why I bought her a laptop, to be honest. I know I had to have a laptop for my editing. My laptop seems to work fine. I don't have any problems at all with that. Maybe I'll have to look at the specs on that. Maybe it's got more VRAM than Mrs. Mechanic's. I don't know. But I need to buy her a PC, get her set up properly, because she has loads of hard drives plugged in and stuff, and it's a bit of a mess with a laptop. And we were looking at one the other day. It's going to be a gaming laptop. It's probably the best thing to get, because it's got lots of video chip RAM. Video RAM?
Yeah, VRAM.
VRAM. I don't know.
On a graphics card.
That's it. Graphics card RAM. There you go. I understand now. So about $2,500, plus you'll need an extra screen and bits and pieces. So we're probably going to spend about $3,000 doing that. So I have to save up. It takes time, but she'll struggle on us for now, as she is. Have we got long on that pie, Ben? How many more minutes on the timer?
It's almost about to ding.
Cool. Getting hungry. Where do we get to? So hopefully, Ted, that's answered your question. But like I say, it may happen again in the future. I just don't know. Don't hold your breath, is what I would say. Don't hold me to it, because I just don't know. Sheldon, nope, not seen one of those before. Well, if I fly down to your neck of the woods, I'll bring one with me. How's that? Ted, by the way, picture and sound are perfect. I don't think we've ever had a picture and sound perfect response before, so that is really good news. And it's only going to get better, is the old internet. Oh, there goes the pie. I'll give it a few minutes to cool down, to settle and do its thing. Simon, a full day to yourself, you lucky bugger. I know, and the fridge is unattended, and the cookie jar is unattended. It'd be great. Vijayant, hi Ben. Vijayant says hi Ben. I'll tell him when he comes back. Connor K, Benny Hill had theme music and the backing of the BBC. He did. He was a very lucky chap. You don't. So it was fun while it lasted. but we have to move on. Still, I miss my dream girl, Hannah. I know you do, Connor. I know you do. We all miss Hannah. Richard Perry. Andy, can you believe it's 40 years today since Live Aid? Holy crap. Feed the world. Do they know it's Christmas? Wow. I remember watching it. I was in London at a friend's house. I'm sure it was London. It was a townhouse. I'm pretty sure it was London, one of the suburbs of London. Don't know why I was there. Can't remember, but I was there. And we're watching it on the telly, in their lounge, all sat around on the sofas and stuff, watching the Live Aid. What a concert. It was brilliant. I think it was probably one of the first concerts I'd watched on TV, to be fair. But 40 years. Aren't we old? Really? We're getting really old now. Not good. Anyway, so things are happening. Talking about filming, we did take the engine out of the Patron, the one that I drove from the UK. Not all the way here. I wish I had done, but we didn't have the funds for that. So the engine's out and it's in Ben's workshop on a very, very precarious engine hoist. You'll see some of that on the workshop diary videos. I have to make him a new engine hoist. I'm not happy at all with the engine hoist that he's got. It looks like it's going to fail at any second. He's already beefed it up, but it's still not correct. It's not strong enough for that big engine. So I don't think I won't be making that today. Maybe next weekend I'll do his engine hoist. I've got some steel left over from the adventure trailer, which would be perfect, super strong to make the frame. And I've got some steel tubes somewhere off some rollers that came with car movie trolley dolly things, which I can use for the twizzly bit, you know, so you can set the engine to upright, side down, on its side, whatever. But I think I'll improve on the design, I think, will be the plan. So I've got to do my little CAD drawing on cardboard, my cardboard aided design, come up with a plan for that. But now I've got some filming to do today. I think we'll film the valve grinding tool. We'll get it fired up. I've got to take that that grinding stone off at the end that's broken. I'm not going to start it up with that on because it'll just explode and probably damage the machine. So I've got to whiz that off before I can start it up. Hopefully the belts will stay together. Don't know. I'll try and find an old valve somewhere and we'll give it a bit of a tickle. See if we can get it to clean up and work. And then it needs a good clean up to the machine and some new belts and a bit of TLC because it's been sat for a very long time. Hasn't been used for about 20 years, the guy reckon. And judging by the amount of dust on it, I think he's right. Connor K, yeah, Live Aid. Broadcast around the world. It was something to watch on the tube back in the day. It sure was. Good old Bob Geldof. He's done some good for the world, hasn't he? Top bloke. I don't think he's got any skeletons in the closet. If he has, I've not seen it in the newspapers. Normally celebrities have some bad stuff as well, but I think Bob Geldof's dodged the bullet on that. I think he's done pretty well. He's been pretty open about, you know, bits and pieces over the years. He's a pretty credible chap, I think. You might put me wrong. You might tell me all sorts of weird stuff about Bob Geldof now, but anyway. Such is life. So, coffee is almost gone. It's cold. Pie's ready. So I'm very impressed with the internet now. I just hope it continues to be as good as it is now, which is okay. I was hoping for more speed and power, right? Speed and power. Been watching a few old Top Gears again recently. Reminiscing. It's good. Right. Time for a pie. Are you ready for a Westie pie? Okay, turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so I don't think, nobody said it, but I don't think it's gone grainy while I've been walking around. So, in actual fact, as we get nearer the pie machine, we're nearer the office as well. Pie machine, pie warmer. So the internet will be actually better where I am here. Oh, it stayed pretty damn opaque, hasn't it? Okay, it's almost a white pie. Bum 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 bum. Here we go. Right, get you set up again. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. That's about right. Okay. Oh, last minute fabrication, Ben. Supposed to be going on the bicycle road. Okay, I'm going to use the packet to rest it on. Get rid of the cup. We've got the score chart. So the first thing I need to do is write down what pie it is, because I at the moment I'm taking photos of these results, and eventually when I get my new magnets to go on the cupboard, I can get them all written out. This is a Westy Grunter. And it's mint and cheese. Very good. Okay, so the pie, quick structural. Oh, the base is a bit soft. Quick structural check. Doesn't look too bad, does it? The lid looks pretty good. The base is quite. Can you see that? It's quite soft on there, so be careful with that one. Where do we start? Let's start here. We're going in. Wow. The pastry is very soft. It is cooked, by the way. There's no gooey pastry, but it's quite soft. Initial thoughts? Quite pastry-ish is the flavour. And it's still a little bit hot. Oh. Okay. There you go. Okay, so this is a mince and cheese. Not come across any cheese at all. I imagine the cheese is about as hot as the sun, so we'll be careful with that. Taste stroke flavour. Well, one more bite and we'll confirm that. I just want to get into a normal pie bite rather than a side which is packed with pastry. It's all right. It's not wonderful, but it's all right. I would give that. The pastry doesn't taste brilliant, to be fair. I'm going to give it a 6. Okay, Structure Foley Partners, we'll leave that for now. I think one more bite and we can do the runnability test, which is a very important test, by the way. Okay. We've got puff pastry on the top, which is flaking away. So this could be difficult, bear with me. And it might flow. Yes, it is flowing. So can you see that? Whoa, it's going to come out. I'm not going to lose it. Okay, so we've got a very, very flexible pie going on here. So it failed the runnability test. You've only got 2 to 3 seconds before you lose some of the content. So it's not ideal. You know, if you're talking to your mate on the phone, whatever, you're not watching your pie, you could easily lose some of the contents. And it doesn't appear that there's much cheese in that area as well. So you know, even just the mince alone is quite fluid. So runnability, I mean, it's not instant, but it's pretty quick. I'll give it a 3, I think, for that one. Okay, meat quality. Well, it is only mince. No gristle yet. Meat quality, it's not bad. I'll give it a 6. Now, I had a thing come through. Bear with me. It might be Mrs. Mechanic. Oh, hang on. What have we got? Roger Heaps. Oh, Roger won't mind. There's his doggy look. And you don't get any idea of scale from that. It's massive. That's a huge sofa that dog's on. Absolute monster. However, it looks to me like the dog is injured. What's going on, Roger? How did that happen? I don't think it broke its leg. It looks like there's something wrong with its foot. You get a thorn in its foot or something in its paw? What the hell? I'm sure you'll tell me on the comments. It's not a bad pie. Pie to crust ratio. Hang on a minute, bear with me. We will just get rid of that before it ends up on the floor. So, oh, a bit of pie management going on. So we've got, there's your pie. You can see how floppy it is. Don't use that as a sound bite, please. So we've got about 5 mil thickness on the sides. Base is very thin, only about maybe 4 mil on the base, and the lid's about the same, about another 4 mil on the lid. So there's not a lot of strength going on, but it is staying together. The pastry is quite flexible because it's not, it's almost not quite cooked, I would say, but it tastes cooked. It's weird. Okay. So it's pretty thin. There's quite a lot of contents, a lot better than some pies. I will give it, for contents, volume of contents versus volume of pastry, I'm going to score it reasonably high on that. So pie to crust ratio, we'll give it 7. 8? 8. We'll give it an 8 on that because it really is pushing the boundaries of very, very little pastry. Okay, hopefully that will stabilize it a bit. Now, availability stroke logistics. I've only ever seen these once. I've never seen them before. They could be a new pie for all I know. They were in a supermarket and you can order them therefore online and have them delivered to your home. But they weren't ready to eat there and then, which is a downside. There might be more available in Auckland, to be fair, because they're made in West Auckland. But all I can do is base it on my experience at the moment, and that's one supermarket about 30 odd kilometers from where we are. But you can get them online, which counts for a lot. And yes, they do deliver here. Oh, there's a burp. Remember that? Okay, so we will give it 5. Does 5 sound fair? I think it gets a 5. I mean, it might be that all of those supermarkets now stock the Westie pies around the country. If they do, that score will be a lot higher. I just don't know. And I doubt it, to be fair. They tend to buy more, you know, the pies that the supermarkets stock, even though it's the same brand of supermarket, and this one was Countdown, I think. Woolworths, they call it now. They've changed the name again. They tend to vary what pies they stock, so that's not something we can go by, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. Pastry taste rating. Not going to be good. Quite gooey. And pretty bland. Not really much flavour at all. It tastes just like picking a piece of pastry up that's just been rolled out before it's been cooked, to be fair. I'm going to give it a 3. Pretty poor quality pastry, to be honest. Still tasty when cold? No idea at the moment. Packaging design. Well, here we go. Who would not buy a pie in that packet with a car on it? I think that's going to be massively appealing to a lot of people. It's also got a window so you can see the pie. It's clear around the car. There's lots of information on the back. And it's also got the perforations so you can actually warm it up in the bag if you so choose. I'd rather not. I'd much prefer to have them outside the bag when you're warming them up because they get a lot drier, which is good. You know, you don't want a slimy pie. That's one of the worst things. But a lot of thought's gone into that. Somebody's drawn that car, you know, some car fanatic has drawn that. I'm very happy with it. And then some CEO has signed it off as being a good idea, which I think is even better. So, packaging design. It's got a window. No. Can't give it 10 because 10's sort of reserved for when they have the specialist boxes and that kind of thing. So we'll give it a 9. I think it's really good on the packaging design. Now, is it recyclable? What's the recyclable score? Okay, there's nothing on the back about recyclableness at all. Nope, no recyclable contents at all. So this has to go in the bin, which is bad. And they don't tell us whether it has to go in the bin or can be recycled either. So I'm just going to give them a 1. I think 1 is all they get on that. Right, stuffability score. Well, I need to be stuffed first. So here we go. It is very, very flexible on the pastry now. It's lost a lot of its structure, but it hasn't burst, unlike my stye. Huh. Putting you off straight away. Even the seam around the lid is holding out. Oh, cheese. We found the cheese. Okay. So I reckon we can score the structure for Holy Partners now. And it's required some serious pie management. I could have easily put my thumb through the base. But it's not horrific. We've had a lot worse than this. So I'm going to give it, I'll give it a 5. I think 5 is fair. Middle of the road. Stuffability score, pie server attractiveness. Now, it was a young lady that served us at the supermarket. She was very helpful. A smile on her face, and she presented herself well, and I felt very welcome in the supermarket. So I'm going to give her, I'll give her a 7, I think. I think 7, maybe an 8. I'll give her an 8, actually. Okay, we're not far off. Still tasty when cold. Heartburn, we've had 1 burp, and stuffability score. So I need to finish the pie. Here we go. Whoa. Cheese. Nice. The cheese actually tastes pretty good. Hold on. Okay, so what have we got? Would it be tasty when cold? Well, I think the pastry would taste pretty weird in its current state cold. Obviously, it's been warmed and cooked, but it didn't taste great even when it was warm. So I think that would pull down the score. However, the mince and cheese tasted pretty damn good, and I'm sure that would taste equally as good or almost as good cold. So I'm sort of torn, really. I think if you ate it cold, you'd be like, nah, it sort of filled the gap, but I wish I'd warmed it up. I'm going to give it a 5. I don't think it would be great. Stuffability score. Do I want anything else to eat? Not at the moment. I'm all right. Incidentally, what weight is this pie? It is 200 grams. Oh, there, look, just underneath the calf, you can see that. 200 grams, which is the average weight of the pie. It's the regular sort of weight of the pie. I'm stuffed. Am I overstuffed? No. There's another burp. Am I understuffed? No. It gets a 10. Full marks. Okay, another burp there. So we're down to 7 on the post-pie heartburn. It could get worse. We will see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All the scores are in. Let's get it marked up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Okay. Right, said Fred. We'll set you back a little bit. Going down. Perfect. Okay. So we've got 11, 14, 20, 28, 33, 36, 41, 50, 51, 58, 68, 76. Not a bad score, to be fair. Let's go and see where that ends up on the wall. We've had a lot better, to be fair. So it's not bad. Right, so 76 on there. Where's that going to be on the board? 76. Oh, no. Oh, no. We've got some big scores, haven't we, really, to be fair? So we're down to 85 on the left-hand door. Morning, Lily. 76. It's pretty dead. It's right down here, look. It's on the back. 76. Irvin's, the Beast. Yeah. That's a shame, isn't it? It's got a picture of a car on the front. I really wanted it to be a lot better than what it was. Okay, well, it's on the back wall, which is not another pie that I would buy again, which is a shame. Let's give Lily a bit of a clean. Bit grubby there, Lily. God damn it. Yes, good times. Okay, back to the bench. We've done the pie, 76 with the score. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Get your level again. There we go. Right. Okay, so we are, what, an hour and 10 minutes in. Get rid of that. So, yeah, quick summary. Not a bad pie. Happy to have one at a petrol station or a dairy if I'm hungry. But it's not something that I would really look forward to. And when you've got a picture like that on the front, you know, and a motorcycle would be good as well, wouldn't it, to be fair? But you got a car on the front, it's got flames coming out, you know, it's got a big blower on it and stuff. It sort of builds excitement. It's like, to me it does anyway. It's like, ooh, this should be good, you know? And it was just okay. It wasn't good. It was okay. It did the job. So if it's all that's available, you can buy it and be rest assured it's going to feed you and it's going to do what it says on the box, or in this case the bag. But you're not going to walk away going, man, that was a good pie. You're not going to get that. So don't think that you are. Oh, really cold coffee. Holy crap. Right, back to the comments. Where have we got to? Okay. Here we go. Simon. I need a cigarette. Hang on, Simon. Simon says, was out on the boat on Thursday. Coming back, I just slowed down to see the police boat behind me. Must have been my lucky day. He went after 2 jet skis for their speed and power. So were you doing anything wrong at the time, Simon? Had you just buttoned off and the wake had just disappeared, you know? Or did you think, we'll leave that lad. We'll give him a second chance. We've focused on the jet skis. Let's go after those. Incidentally, here in New Zealand, you don't have to have any kind of license to have a jet ski. You can just buy one and go off and play on it. Hence, there are lots of accidents. I know a friend of mine in the UK, in fact, a cousin of mine in the UK, he had an accident on a jet ski. I think he hit a swimmer. Didn't do him any good at all, to be fair. Pretty nasty accident from memory. I was only a kid at the time. But yeah, it wasn't a good situation. So if you do have a jet ski, please be very careful that there's no swimmers around. Almost ended in disaster. But well done, Simon. You evaded the law yet again. Top bloke. Roger Heaps jumped out of the ute window. Holy crap! Why? Why would a dog do that? Do they not realise that the world's going past at a stupid speed? Wow. Just grazed and a cut with a few stitches. Well, at least, you know, it wasn't a broken leg. You know, it could have been much worse, right? But they don't do that again. Roger, the dog is the little one. She's about 45 kilograms. Yes, the big dog is massive, but that's still a big dog to me, all right? John Nuttall, hit the like button. Sorry, Andy. All good, mate. All good, John. Thank you very much. I always forget to say it. But it's hot here for me to type more. That's all right, matey. You're all good. It's reasonably cold here. I had my jacket on yesterday. I can't wear the jacket now because it's got a name on it that can't go on the channel. But it's a nice jacket. It's a sleeveless sort of jacket, and it's like a wax sort of covering on it. So when I'm on the lathe, nothing sticks to it. All the chips just fall off on the ground, which, as you can see, there's loads of chips on the ground, and I've already swept up twice. Simon, I was a bit over the 6 knot speed limit, I bet you were. To be fair, the Marine unit are good guys. We'll give you a warning. We'll give you a warning. I'll give you a few warnings. Okay. Well, even so, you evaded them, right? I've got some. Oh, no, I've got it. I had some pie stuck in my teeth. Nasty. Roger. Sent the pic of the big dog with my mum. Here we go, look. All right, so we've got a big dog picture now. We're turning into a dog channel now, aren't we? What the hell? Right, bear with me. Got to go back. That would do it. Look at the size of that dog. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. There you go. It's monstrous. Absolutely massive. And we took Marmite down to Rogers a couple of times, and when Marmite got out of the truck for the first time and saw I forget the name of your dog. Mrs. Mechanic, what's Roger's big dog called? Remember? Zeus or something like that. Zeet. There we go. Zeet. Thank you very much.
Lovely big sloppy thing.
Massive great dog. Come on, say hello to the people. You can't just walk in and walk out. There you go.
Where?
There. There you go. Mrs. Mechanic. Finally out of bed. Good job, honey. What? Oh, she's come back. Help. Look, you can't hurt me at the moment because it's on live TV. Live stream thing.
I've just been making picnic lunches and made you one in the fridge, so maybe I'll just go.
Oh, nice.
Take that
You made me
with
some
me
lunch.
too.
No, I was only joking. So yes, it's massive. So Marmite got out of the ute, put her on the ground, and she just looked up at this massive. Obviously, it must look like a horse to Marmite. Absolutely massive. But they got on together really, really well. Marmite was, they were just great friends. They went off around the farm together and had a little sniff around, and it was just brilliant. I always, because Marmite's had some really bad experiences with dogs. I took her for a run, believe it or not, years and years ago, not anymore. And we went down this new gravel road where we used to live up north of Auckland, up near Puhoi it was, Aharoa. And it's all gravel roads around there. It's brilliant. I used to love living up there. And went off for a run down this new road that I'd not been down to see what was down there. And went past, running not particularly fast. I wasn't a fast runner. Running past this, I probably looked terrible, but anyway. Past this house, and there was a big long driveway and this house set back from the road, and the gates were open. And I heard this barking going on. I'm like, shit. Are they in the house? Are they tied up? Are they in a kennel? And all of a sudden, these 2 dogs come bounding across the grass. And I'm thinking, shit, they haven't stopped. They just kept coming towards us. They came straight out of the gate, straight onto the road, and started to attack Marmite. And one of them picked Marmite up in its mouth and was busy starting to chomp. This dog was on a mission to eradicate the Marmite. And I had to go into full defense mode. And I was all on my own, middle of nowhere. And, as much as I hate to say it, I had no alternative, but I had to, punch the dog. Hate it. But I mean, I was trying to save Marmite. If I hadn't, Marmite would never have survived. And it took a little bit. And the other dog was busy biting me at the time, trying to protect its mate. And I did get Marmite, obviously, out of the clutches of this other dog, the male, I think it was. And then, I just shouted at them really loud, and then they ran off. But it was quite a scary moment, and Marmite was not the same dog for a few weeks after that. She had a few puncture wounds around her rib cage and stuff where this big dog had bitten into her. So she's always been really wary of dogs since then. But Roger, instantly, no problems at all. She was absolutely fine, which was really good to see. Really, really good. So very grateful for that. So thank you, Roger. Zeke, there we go. I always forget, it's a weird name. I always forget Zeke. I should think of Seek. Seek the dog called Zeke, right. Simon, give him a clip. It was a full-on punch, to be honest, right to the head. It was, yeah. But there was no other option. There was no other option. And I got a few bite marks as well. So, it was give as good as you get, right? And to be fair, I blame the owners. The dogs should have the gate should have been closed, and the dogs shouldn't have been able to get out. It's a bad situation for everybody, to be honest. Connor K, good morning, Mrs. Mechanic. Thank you, Connor. Yeah, she's getting her all psyched up for a 62-kilometer off-road e-bike ride. Ben says they'll be back about 5 p.m, so it's going to be quite a mission. And it's about an hour away to drive to get to the start, and then they'll be cycling for quite some time. Ben's taken a stock of batteries with him. He built a little trailer that goes behind his his e-bike. I had to make some new swivelly joint things for it because the other ones broke, and they seem to be hanging in there pretty well now. They're made from motorcycle handlebar clamps and some tubing that's been drilled out. So, well, not tubing, it was a solid piece that I drilled out. So well above the job, weighed quite a bit, but hey, if it doesn't break, that's the most important thing. So what's happening this next week? Well, Andy, I'll tell you what's happening this next week. It's tomorrow all the way through, I think for every day this week, 5 days, I've got motorcycle shop visits, all based from home. So I'm going as far west as Hamilton, Otranto, and then I forget where else I'm going, actually. But they're all, I might be going to Toronto, which is a bit northeast. I think I'm going there for the day. And I think that's Thursday from memory. So yeah, every day I'm driving, usually about an hour and a half drive time to get to each site, and then about an hour and a half back. So including the visit itself, which is usually about 3 to 4 hours, there's not much of the day left. Maybe an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half for some admin work when I get back, or a little bit before I leave, depending on where it is that I'm going. So yeah, it's pretty busy, and of course there's going to be a load of emails to catch up with as well, because I was off Thursday, Friday, so there's stuff going on already that needs to be dealt with. So hopefully I'll get that done tomorrow morning before I leave, sort of clear the decks, which is nice. And then next weekend, Ben might be coming down, he might not, but I'm going to start making that engine hoist for him. Sorry, engine stand. An engine stand, because the one that he's got, he bought secondhand. It was only $100 odd, $120, but it's obviously made in China, and it's just not designed for an engine like that. The Nissan Patrol engines are extremely heavy, big cast iron block, cast iron head, straight six diesel, and it just can't cope with it. Yes, it's on the stand now, but it droops right down. There's obviously a lot of flex going on, and it looks precarious to say the least. And if one of those Chinese welds fails, it'll be on the ground and it could cause damage, and we don't want that. So I need to make him an engine stand. That'll be an interesting little project. Maybe I'll take you along on that, actually. See how we go. So other than that, for today, I'm going to make some videos because I want to see how quickly they upload, and I can get them edited on an evening next week. So by next weekend, you should hopefully see another video on the channel. Fingers crossed. We're still a fair few videos away from the magic 1,000. But saying that, subscribers have gone up a little bit. We had a bit of a bump in the old subscriber count. Let's have a quick look, see what we're at now. So as of today, we are at 97,072 subscribers, which is pretty good, actually. I'm very proud of that. Although yesterday we only got 3, which is a bit weird. But the general trend is back up, which is nice. And incidentally, and very strangely, but incidentally, whenever I do a live stream, every single time I lose subscribers because of the live stream. And I do not know why. It just seems bizarre to me. But like I said before, I will continue to do live streams because I enjoy doing them. And I know that the core viewers, those that are already subscribed, actually quite enjoy them, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here, would you? Simple as that. Simon, that'll be a good video. The engine stand. We'll get a fair few views. I hope so. I mean, engine stands to build from scratch. I'll probably just start. I'll think about it, but I won't do any drawings yet. and then we'll do it right from the start with the cardboard eddy design. I'll do a bit of brainstorming. We've got the steel in stock. Mig's got plenty of gas. I think we've got enough wire, hopefully. There is a small reel just up there somewhere that'll get me out of jail free if need be, that somebody gave me. So I think we'll have enough to do that. So yeah, and we might have some. We should have some casters. I've got a lot of casters. I've just got to find at least 2 pairs of good casters and good strong ones, and I think I've got them. I hope so. Anyway, fingers crossed. So that's really what's coming up for the next week. The week after, I have no idea. I cannot remember. I've been more focused on getting my eye fixed, to be honest. And those that have just joined us, Andy Mechanic got a whacking great stye in his eye. And it burst. I didn't know that styes could burst, but this one burst. We got all blood and pus and stuff coming out of it, which is good in some ways, but pretty nasty in others. Don't know how it happened. Just an infection, the doctor said. One of those things. Connor K, some video fabricating that engine stand will be interesting. Well, there we are. It's a deal. We will film it. Simon, possibly with the regulars in a live stream like a closed shop, though it's not. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it just gives us time to have a bit of an informal chat and a bit of a catch up and let you know how things are going in my life, because there's a lot more to what, as you guys well know, there's a lot more to me just making videos. You know, I do a lot of other stuff as well, and unfortunately the time that I have available to make videos and to do the little projects that I want is very hard to find sometimes, especially when I get sent down to Queenstown at last minute. But that was definitely a very good trip, and I think if it pulls off, it will give the manufacturer a huge advantage over others. Not going to say any more than that, but the world of ROVs is changing. We've seen it in real time. When they first came out, they were small, and now they're not small anymore. You know, I watch a lot of Matt's Off-Road Recovery, a great YouTube channel. Hi Matt, if you ever watch any of mine. And Matt, again, is, if I ever get over to the States, hopefully later this year, Matt is one of the people I'd like to go and meet. I've got a long list now building up. But we see now ROVs are very much starting to grow in popularity for the rock crawling fraternity over in the States. Traditionally, they'd used like Jeep Wranglers, that kind of thing, and put suspension kits on them and diff lockers and all that kind of thing. But more often than not, they would drive that vehicle to the trails, do the trails, and then drive home. Jeep Jamboree, for example, that kind of stuff. The problem is, if you break something, you can't drive home, so you're stuck. Plus, they're quite expensive to build up other Jeeps. Whereas you can go and buy an ROV off the shelf, which is okay, for probably a lot less money. And it's good to go in the main. You can do a few tweaks. They're a lot easier to work on as well at home. But all brands have their failings when it comes to that kind of application. I mean, your Can-Ams, they forever blow belts. The Polaris, they forever blow belts. The Hondas, they have problems with the clutch packs. They've all got their inherent problems, but the Can-Ams seem to be the most popular from what I can see on the ones that you know are on YouTube. And the people that go rock crawling and stuff, they just take a spare belt with them, and it's possible to fit the belt on the trail as long as you got the right tools. So that seems to be the preferred brand at the moment. If a transmission system can be developed which can cope with that slow speed, very, very slow speed, high torque situation for prolonged periods, then that manufacturer, I think, will get a stronghold in that group of users. Plus, it'll also make the vehicles a lot more beneficial for lots of other applications as well. ROV manufacturers really need to start to think about what they're building. They're still, in the main, in the headspace of ATVs and using ATV components for ROVs. Whereas these ROVs are just as heavy as some of the small four-wheel drives now. They've got just as much torque as the little Suzuki Jimneys, but they're not as durable. They haven't adopted automotive engineering in the design, certainly in the transmission. For example, a lot of ROVs don't have steering locks or steering stops. So if you hit a rock really hard, it punches the wheel into lock and it just bends one of the tie rod ends, or the rack ends, they call them in New Zealand. It just bends it and it's a sacrificial part. Whereas if they had steering stops, it would protect the steering system, just like on a four-wheel drive, you know. So there's lots of things that they can do to improve them. And yes, it's going to add a bit of weight to them, but that's sort of the nature of the beast. You know, they're getting so big and so heavy, they need to be stronger. And they're not at the moment. They're just getting bigger, but not really any more durable. And because of the weight and the increased power, they're becoming less reliable. And when you're in the middle of nowhere, literally in the middle of nowhere, some of those recoveries that Matt does are way, way off the beaten track. It can take him hours just to get onto site. Those vehicles need to be, from nothing more than just a safety perspective, they need to be a lot more durable. John, the best engine stand I find has a tray fitted to catch the oil as it drips, or as you clean with brake cleaner. That's a great idea. Yes, we need to incorporate that in the design, and I've got some nice trays kicking around that we can incorporate and have a little tray holder. Good idea. I like that. I'm not too concerned about making it so it can be disassembled and stowed away. I think it'll just be a weld up job. Possibly I might put some plates in there so we can tilt the legs. I don't know yet. I don't want to make it too complicated because I've only really got a day and a half to make it. But on the other hand, I'm only going to ever make one, so you want to do the best you can, right? But once it's made, we can then have a chat about the other features that I could have included. But it needs to be super strong. And a lot of engine stands these days are all made to the bare minimum of steel content. And I don't like that. Especially when you're putting a massive great engine like that on there. And it says it's rated for the engine it's got on, but it really isn't. Oh, another burp. That's another point gone. Simon, low speed, high torque is getting rid of the heat that's going to be the issue. Exactly. Heat generated by the transmission system, not just the engine. Tom Dix, oh, that's a new name. Do you have to get an alignment after changing the stabilizer end rods? Stabilizer end rods. Do you mean the rack ends on the steering? Anything to do with steering or suspension, really, yes, you should have another wheel alignment done because you're bound to have changed your toe and stuff doing that. Jim Haynes, not to mention how they have gone up in price to a staggering amount for the four-wheelers and bigger ROVs. They are getting really expensive. They are. I saw a 2025 model ROV. I'm not going to say the brand. That's now in fact, Jim, Mr. K, if he's still on the channel, on the live stream, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They've brought out a long wheelbase, so it's a four-seater with a tray, so very, very similar to all the Can-Ams and stuff that you see on doing the rock crawling. Basically a long wheelbase ROV, very plush, high off the ground, massive tires, and $50,000. No problem at all. 50 grand New Zealand, $50,000. Holy crap. Suzuki Jimny's only 33. And you get a free windscreen and doors and aircon. Now I know that a Suzuki Jimny won't do all that an ROV will do off-road, and it's nowhere near as stable in some cases as the longer wheelbase ROVs, but even so, they are getting really expensive, and with that kind of premium price needs to be premium engineering and premium durability in my book. And at the moment, they aren't. They're a bit fragile. They're easy to break. And they should be designed for that kind of application because that's what people are using them for. That's what the market wants. Jim Haynes. Yes, sorry, Jim, just covered that one. So yes, they are getting crazy expensive. But saying that, it's really good to see those kind of vehicles in that space, you know, being used for that kind of activity. And over in the States, they're very, very lucky. They've got massive expanses of land to go and do that recreation on. Here in New Zealand, we're very, very limited. In the UK, probably the same now. Although a lot of the, and if you've got it road legal, which you probably could in the UK, they were pretty good at getting quad bikes and stuff road registered. If you were to go green laning, a lot of the green lanes have closed now in the UK, which is a terrible shame. I mean, I was really the last generation to thoroughly enjoy the green lanes. We did a lot of green laning in England, in the North Yorkshire Moors especially, the Yorkshire Dales, and in Cumbria. Did some fantastic trails over there, and I have some very fond memories of those weekends away while I was guiding groups around on the green lanes through the Grisdale Forest and stuff. Man, it was good. I don't think we realised just how lucky we were back then. Now, pretty much all gone. National parks have shut them all down. Simon, did you see if there was old stock of that vintage tester? Interesting to know. I haven't yet. I will. I've sort of been a bit busy recently, but I will. And if I can get a new old stock, I will order one, because I think it's a great tool. It'll be useful, but also just from a historical perspective, to have one would be really nice. I quite like the old special tools. I will ask one of my newly found engineers to have a look in their cupboard, because what you see on stock isn't always, you know, they often keep a few bits and pieces to one side. So maybe I can tap into that. I know Ben needs some panels for his TDR, for example. He really, really does need some panels for his TDR. And a good fuel tank. We're getting really short on good fuel tanks. I sent one down to Christchurch, Matt, who's just done a phenomenal job on a TDR. I don't have any pictures for you. Hang on. It might take me a minute to find them. I can't show you, can I? Because it's a... God damn it! Okay, so he's restored a TDR. It looks really good. Super motard spec. He's rebuilt the engine from the ground up. The whole bike's been rebuilt from the ground up, to be fair, and it's immaculate. It's an absolute amazing machine. If he ever sells it, I might put my name on it. It's that good. But the fuel tank that he had was damaged. It was corroded and so on, and he needed some, he needed to repair it. And he said, look, have you got another tank? And Ben's like, well, I've got this one. It's pretty rusty. It's got pinholes in it. You know, to me, it was scrap. Anyway, I took it down to Matt a couple of months ago when I was in the South Island, dropped it off for him. And then a few weeks later, he sent me a picture of his fuel tank all fixed. And he'd used the top of the fuel tank that I sent down onto his old tank. They'd actually, you know, brazed it on or whatever, and then painted it all, and it looked like a brand new fuel tank. It looked absolutely mint. Not too sure how good the inside was, but it looked fantastic on the photos. Very, very impressed. Whoever did it did a brilliant job. I don't think Matt did the repairs himself. I think he had a mate that does panel beating. But anyway, if they'd done an amazing job, it was just fantastic. And it was really good to see what was going to be scrapped being helpful to somebody else to get their bike sorted out. Jim, I see them at the racetracks and people just riding around with those four-door things. My four-wheeler is there to work, but those things with AC in them now, they've got aircon in them. Holy crap. And now other stuff is crazy, like what the hell. Yeah, they're becoming almost a status symbol, aren't they, you know? All the bells and whistles on them. I mean, one of the stupid designs, right? Here we go. So one of the stupid designs is a lot of them are now supplied from factory with a winch. A reasonable size winch on the front, £4,500, £5,000 winch, whatever. But they don't come with a lance anymore, with the button for spooling in and spooling out. They only have a button on the dash, which is ludicrous. Because when you're inside the vehicle, yes, a button on the dash is helpful under some circumstances. but you need to watch the cable spooling in onto the drum. And you can't see it. And so you don't know when to stop. The cable will be all bunching up and bird caging, we call it, and getting caught on those little bars that link one side of the winch to the other. They can easily bend those bars and even break the casing of the winch. Winches should always have a plug on the front of the vehicle next to the winch for a lance controller to go in as well, or a remote control, whichever. But you need to have the ability to operate the winch from outside the vehicle while you're not in it. Now, sure, you might have a helper with you, but you might not. And there's also a safety problem when you've got a helper. The helper's feeding the wire into the winch, and their glove gets caught. If they're wearing a glove, it gets caught on the wire, and their hand gets drawn into the fair lead. They've then got to shout stop to the driver. They've got to get the driver's attention. They've then got to release the button, by which time it's too late. Their fingers are going to be well munched in that winch cable. If it's the person spooling the cable in, holding the winch button, they know when to stop and start. They're in control of everything. So from a safety perspective, you need to have that. It just begs belief. And same with battery isolation switches. A lot of these vehicles and ATVs don't have battery isolation switches. It's normal practice on a four-wheel drive vehicle like the Patrol or whatever to have an isolation switch. So when the winch isn't in use, it's disconnected, so you get no corrosion in the circuit. But also, sometimes the big relay, the solenoid block or the contactor block, the Americans call it, which controls the main current flow to the winch motor, they can stick. And we've seen that in some of the videos where I've pulled the same components apart. If they stick, the winch can stick in the spool in state, even when you let go of the button on the controller. It just keeps spooling in. So the only way to stop it is to disconnect the battery, the power supply. And if you've got to try and pull battery terminals off and find spanners to do that, it's too late. Isolation switch, you can just turn the isolation switch key on the knob on it, and instantly everything stops. And that was normal practice on four-wheel drives. But when it comes to ATVs and ROVs, side-by-sides, nobody seems to bother. And it's a huge problem. You know, why? Why have they not got them on? I tell people every single time, you know, and I've seen so many winches that have done that and caused damage, even caught fire, caused a fire on the vehicle. If only they'd had a battery isolation switch on there, it wouldn't have been a problem. Plus, you tend to find that the contactor block is a lot more reliable when it's not got permanent power to it. Sounds weird, but it cuts down on the corrosion. Simon, get a load of silver solder if you need to fill pinholes. Yes, that's a good idea. Silver solder. I used that at school, actually. Basil, or Baz. My metalwork teacher taught me that. I may well have a tank to do. Not that I can do a video on it, obviously. Or maybe I will film it, but it won't go out for many, many years. Okay, crew. Well, I think we're about there. Mrs. McCall, hour and 43 minutes. Wow. Bumper trip. Okay, it's been great to catch up. It's been an okay kind of a pie. Sorry about the stye. Almost rhymes, doesn't it? There you go. Let you have a good look. Not good. Hopefully it'll be a bit better when you see me next. Maybe. Who knows? Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. Do really, really appreciate it. Simon, Mrs. Mechanic hasn't forgotten your parcel. We're slowly putting it all together. I found you something which I really think you'll like. Not publicly available. Gonna send it to you with your pack. It's been years and years that I've been promising this pack to go out. It is gonna get sent. I need to find some traditional Kiwi sweets and stuff to put in there as well for you. Okay, crew, until then, I need to go do stuff. Take care, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks back in the workshop. Cheers for now. Over and out.